Hello, Army. How are you? Borhe Apabangpo. It has been definitely a long time since I've been on. Happy New Year. Happy New everything. I hope everything has been well. I hope everyone is healthy and that the new year has started out absolutely brilliantly. I know normally I give a little bit more heads up if I do a show, but I think that all of us know just how emotionally and spiritually and everything moved we were watching Love Wins All, and just how much I think we needed to have something this beautifully, gorgeously created that gives us a sense of hope, love, connection, and just so many other things. I was saying that I really couldn't, to my family, that I really couldn't put all the words in place as to how I was feeling. So I thought we would do a live reaction. It's going to be our first one. And, it's Taeyong. So I love him endearingly and forever. And I thought this would be a beautiful way for us to, to start out the year, just honoring him and doing a live reaction. So I'm hoping that I'll get a few people on today because like I said, I'm sorry I didn't get it out to you much earlier to let you know that I'd be doing it, but it was kind of just a little bit about who I am and how I was feeling. So welcome to Living Bangtan 7. It's been a long time off of Bangpo. We have had a ton of changes with the company, but that's not for today. We're going to talk about that at another time. As you know, Living Bangtan 7 is an hi Tessa. Yay! Thank you for joining. Living Bangtan 7 is a site that we created for Army, for BTS, for all of us to connect, to talk about the mental wellness aspects, messages, the healing messages of Bangtan Sonyeon, to create a space for Army to feel protected, loved, and supported, and always to be able to feel that 24/7 they're living Bangtan 7 24/7 and living bulletproof and protected and loved. So I don't want to take too much time talking about anything. I kind of want to go ahead and go into the video. I've made some notes. Yes, this is like really weird because normally you do a reaction and you haven't seen it. I think all of you know that you could watch this video 10 times and have 10 completely different reactions, which is exactly what happened. The nuances of the music, the nuances of the color, the background that's used, the tone, the nuances of the oops, sorry guys, I'm actually trying to, as always, working on this channel, trying to get things figured out when I'm by myself. So the nuances of the way that they use tone. This was directed by an actual film director who IU has, I think, worked with in the past. It was put out in Idham, the entertainment, the company. Hi, Mary. Happy New Year. So happy to see you here. Yay. They had some official statements. I actually haven't been able to find that. I found that through media. So I was really hoping I could find the original. And I don't want to talk about that now. Also, I want to just go ahead and go into the reaction and feel very comfortable to chime in here. But as reactions go, it's me stopping and going as we talk about the video, and me looking at how the use of the color tone, the color palette, the tone of music, the crescendo of music to tone, color, to sound, and to no sound, because there's many moments where there is no sound, and absolutely, it's stunning, it's stellar, it's superb. I don't have words for it. I kept saying from the first one to now, and I'll always say it, I wish it was a movie, because if this was a movie, my heart. But to find out, Yeah, there's a lot of theories out there, Evelyn. So what we're going to talk about, let me go through it and I'll bring in some of the theories through my reactions, but I'm going to go through the psycho-emotional side of it, which, to be fair, that's all that's music video is. You are looking at the stark background of loss, of deprivation, of a world that's been invaded somehow by some alien species, and that species has made a decision that there are people in this world, in the world that they've invaded, that just aren't worthy of living. Horrible thought, and something that I think we can understand. So the concept is we're seeing the two of them running from the beginning, and then there's a concept of them being a little bit other. Actually, I completely thought War of the Worlds. Every second of it, I thought, what a War of the Worlds vibe. Actually, I was telling that to Terry yesterday, that there was a very strong, even the first version of it and the second version of War in the Worlds, how this species is invading and making choices about an entire human race and who they deem to be, kind of like the Daleks in Doctor Who. There's a superior race, and when there's a superior race, they're creating suppressions and oppressive philosophies that say, hey, you're not good enough for the world that we're existing in. Who you are, hey Terry, who you are is not someone that we want in this world. So when I read the entertainment thoughts that had come in the media, they laid out those four. But let's go ahead and go into it, and then I could really quickly, because these are going to be short videos, so I'll do my best to try and get to just discussing my thoughts on it, and then whether or not we all feel, well, first of all, everyone's theory is not going to be wrong, because it's how you feel, it's how you connect. When we watch something as beautiful, as genius as this is created, it was meant for all of us to fully flesh out what our own thoughts are, what our own concept is, our own conceptualization. I call it, and I'm going to read you some of my notes, a crescendo of concept. So basically, as we watch, it's a visual, auditory, sensory experience, because we're watching, we're listening, we're feeling. It's almost as if it's tactile, because when they're looking in that camera, they're showing us a tactile expression of the emotions that they're feeling. So it's almost as if you're sitting there. When she takes that bite, puts that fork down. Okay. Let's just get to the video, and then we're going to chat a little bit about it. I have it all primed and ready to go, so give me a sec, okay? Oh, listen, Mary, I cried pretty much every second of it. So bear with me. Once the video is streaming, I have to stop and start, so I can't always come back to the messages, but I will do my best. Yeah, I cried. My kids were asking me, why are you so sad? And I said, I don't know how to explain it. I think it's because of how beautiful it is. And sometimes we cry with beauty, something that's so beautiful that it's ethereal. And I feel like that is a lot of us. A lot of us are feeling those emotions of those concepts coming together in a crescendo, and our senses are connecting to them. We're getting dopamine and serotonin rushes as we're watching it, and as our amygdala and limbic system are connecting memory to memory to memory. No, none of us have lived in a dystopian society where aliens have invaded and are wiping out the human race. But we understand from history and life and situation that bad things like this happen. And where would we be? What would we feel like if we were these people? But the number one thing to understand is both of them have physical disabilities. I think it's absolutely gorgeous how simply these characters imbibe the fact that they have a disability, but they're not disabled. They're able. They're so beautifully strong. I use the protection that she shows for V it's just unreal. But Let me get to the video and then we'll talk. Okay. All right. Let's get there. Let me present real quick and I will be right with you. Mm-hmm. And listen to the sound. As the sound starts, listen to that sound. And hey, by the way, I don't have premium, so hopefully it doesn't go to a commercial first, so bear with me. Listening to the building of sound and whenever there's silence. So they've already brought us into this dystopian universe where we already see the storytelling quickly. We don't know where they're running from. And by the way, I wore the sweater today in honor of V sweater because it matches. Just wanted to let you know. But we already know that the world is stark, it's dark. We can see from their faces that they've been struggling, that they're battered, they're bruised. We don't know where they're coming from. But whatever it was that drove them to this place, there's no more choice. And you can see that in his face right here, that he's showing you not hopelessness, but some level of resolution that there is no choice at this moment as to where to go and how to survive. That shot is absolutely one of my favorites. The two of them just looking up. And here, this is where I'm talking about. The entire time up until now, we're 36 seconds in, and we're hearing the steps, we're hearing the sound, we heard the rustling of the leaves, we heard the flow of the water. That in and of itself is what I was saying about building that crescendo of sound and the sensory experience. We were handed that from the beginning. Just to understand, I have a philosophy that moment of darkness that we got, that flashing of darkness at the beginning, is actually V's character closing his eye, because when he closes the eye, he can see from it. He would only see darkness, correct? So in that moment, as they're running, I'm pretty sure that's actually his perspective of not being able to see. That, wow, like within 15 seconds, we're getting the darkness that he's living in when that other eye is closed. That's amazing. But also all the sound that we're hearing, they don't clarify if Ayu's character is just unable to speak or whether she also can't hear. So I'm not going to make that supposition. I think based on the media, it said that she couldn't speak. So it is possible she was able to hear. And it looks like it in the video that she was able to hear, because we can see her turning here and again. So I think, I could be wrong, but I think she can hear. She just cannot speak. And of course, she uses sign language. So that crescendo moment, man. Oh. All right, let's go. You ready? Because this is when the music starts. And the reason I froze it here is look at his face, but look at her face. Do you not see two totally different emotional journeys right here? He's like, okay, what's next? What's around this corner? What more can we do? What more can we handle? And she's like, what's around this corner? What more is there? What more can we handle? But we're going to handle it. And she is holding him behind her, and you already see the protective nature. Just gorgeous. That little slit of light, man. You see it in his face. You see it in both of their faces. God help me. The entirety of army looked at that pile of clothes, and everyone flashed completely back to two connective points to Spring Day. One, that piano chord, bum, 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 that's Ayu's, but surprisingly, that chord is actually extremely in par with the intonation that we're getting in Spring Day. But of course, the clothes representing the loss of loved ones, the clothes here in the exact same pile also representing the loss of loved ones. God Lord, I stopped it right there, just right there. I had to breathe for a few seconds. When I watched it the first time, I needed to take a second and think, okay, this is where we're going with this. Right now, we're in, look at the shape, look at the light that's coming in, and understand the parts of light versus the parts of dark that are in this space, which is the dichotomy of these visual impairment, which is the dichotomy of living in fear and hope at the same time. This scene represents the two sides of that very, very, very emotional journey that we live in when we're living with in anger or fear or the unknown and the uncertainty. It's the light and the dark, right? It's the hope and the hopelessness. It's this massive, and right in the middle of it is this pile of clothing. Okay, this director is insanely good. Ugh, okay, sorry, I don't think we're ever gonna get done with it. Okay, next one, next part. See, IU looked up before V's character looked up, which is why I believe she can hear, simply because we see that moment. But then she takes him and she brings him and hides him here.
Dearest darling, my universe.
And then she starts with a sigh. She takes the breath and starts with the exhalation of the breath. I talk to you guys about that with Dulcet all the time, 2-3 with our workshops. The inhalation and the exhalation breath. The inhalation breath is taking it in and calming, or just coming to the resolution of the connection to the things that are around you to be able to find your balance. The exhalation breath is about letting something go. And in music, it's actually pretty similar because it's emoting something that has to do with resolution and determination and commitment. But in this moment, that's what I felt. Maybe I'm wrong. You can give me your thoughts on it. Right. I think maybe because it was such a dark moment that it was very difficult for us to want to recognize how much darkness there was in that moment. So I think that that's the important part of it. Thank you for that. And it's the light versus the dark. And we see that throughout the entire video. Okay, I'm going to try not to stop as much.
나의 가난한 상상력으론 떠올릴 수 없는 곳으로 저기 멀리 from Earth to Mars 꼭 같이 가줄래.
And in this moment, he's looking and you see the light reflexive because he's having to focus with the one eye that he has. You know, when we visually, we use both eyes, whether we're only using one or the other. There's a balance between the two things that create, polarity and light reflexes. And for him, he doesn't have that. So they actually physically represented it in the moment as you see the focus coming, waxing and waning. Oh, geez, that's insane. And then, everyone's concept about what they're seeing in that video when they look through it. It's not because they need to look for perfection in each other. It's because it's the parts of themselves that are inside. From what I read, it was representing the parts of themselves that are inside, regardless of the fear, the risk, regardless of the disability that they're both dealing with. It's the fact that inside of them that they're whole, that they are perfect regardless of everything else, and that's what we're getting the representation of. Yay. All right, let's go on.
그곳이 어디든 오랜 외로움 그 반대말을 찾아서 어떤 실수로 이토록 우리
And it makes you wonder in that moment if she had ever gotten to see him without the visual impairment. Is this the first time? You know, when you see someone for the first time, visually, tactily, you touch, you know, someone that you love this much, you do touch, you do feel. And that stimulates so much joy and happiness in you. And in this moment, it looks like she's getting to see what he would be like without the damage that he had to the eye. And it's not just endearing, it's just so absolutely moving.
함께 읽어 세상에게서 도망쳐버려 나와 저 끝까지가 좀 막아볼 나쁜 결말일까 길 잃은 우리 둘 부서지도록 나를 뽑아놔 더 사랑이 내
So that moment, I'm sorry, I don't intentionally keep stopping on on Taeyong, but I mean, it's Taeyong, so, but they're both just gorgeous. How is it that in that moment, they were also able to, exactly what I said, feel the sensation of actually eating that food as if it had been left there? Because as you can see, whatever had happened, whatever this disaster was, this invasion was, you know, everyone left because the food was just sitting there, deteriorating, and everything was just strewn about. So we knew that it was a massive event and that things happened so quickly. There was absolutely no way to to prepare or to do anything differently. So, you know, in these moments, they are giving us a chance to see what the world for these two has been, could have been, would have been, but what their love created between the two of them. And I think that in this moment, it's about what their love is creating in terms of their happiness and their joy and what they choose to see or to feel as who they are. Yeah, right here. Look at the difference in her look. She has the empty fork. Her look is more empty than in the next picture when she has food on the fork and she has a brighter face, because she realizes either one, she can physically experience the sensation of eating that food, or two, her mind and her spirit, her heart allowed her to experience it. We don't know. We don't actually need to know. We just know that the camcorder is this gift that gives them this window into their hearts and their happiness and their joy and the love. And that love has the ability to transcend sometimes, not sometimes, many times the darkest of moments. Okay, so we're gonna go. Eek. We gotta hurry up. I just absolutely love when she does that. And then all of a sudden, I want you to who these footage characters are, but they're part of their joy and their happiness. And they're feeding them and they're controlling them and they're making them happy. It's just the concept of it being faceless, but still, dark-clad is still happy. So against the norm, right? What we consider to be fearsome or fearful, what we consider to be something that hurts us or may harm us, and we look at the dark and we say, automatically, maybe that dark is something we have to be afraid of, but they chose to clad these characters in fully in black from head to toe. That's a huge decision in storytelling. Yeah. As you said, it really is absolutely stunning and genius the way they recreated the sensation, or could be the way we can reconnect with the memory. So the thing is, we don't know whether or not the two of them have these memories together. But do we need to know? Again, is the thing. All we know that in this moment, they were able to connect all those sensations And with love and with whatever that hopefulness that they still had that was attached to that love, they were able to transcend that darkness that was filling the room. These characters full of darkness actually became glimmers of hope and love and joy. That's how I was seeing it, because I thought that was such a beautiful characterization to make the characters. Also, not to take away from the two main characters, was to either have had them in white or in a simple other tones. But the use of black, very, very, very strategic in this moment to, again, continue the dichotomy, the dark and the light. Love is strong. Yeah. And that's definitely the message, 100%. Okay, let's go. Look at him doing the things he's putting on the pyramid. She couldn't go. She couldn't fully engaging with his
천천히 너를 두 눈에 담아 한 번 더 편안히 웃어주려.
So one of the other theories is that, and one of the other thoughts that came from it, at least from what the media said, is that this is also about a suppressive and oppressive and a discriminatory society, and that people who are other can, even this show, I'm going to cry. Okay. That in an oppressed society, oftentimes we are constantly running away from who we are, who we should be able to be in order to conform to what society wants us to be. And in this case, we're talking about their disabilities, what their disabilities are according to the video, their physical ones, as something that's otherness and not acceptable according to this alien race. And what world do we live in that physical disabilities are still seen as otherness? We need to stop that. Stop it, people. Whatever anyone has in their life, whatever they're struggling with, we need to just let people live. Love transcends everything, then just love everybody, okay? That's my take on this. There you go, my soapbox. Yeah, thanks, Mary. Okay. I agree with you. Forbidden love comes in places where people who we don't allow to designate love to themselves have to find ways to exist within love and within a world that doesn't accept that otherness. And in this moment, the storytelling is saying they were living their dream. They were living in love. Love was completely crescendo between the sound and the tone and the music and the imagery. You could feel the love just literally coming off of that screen. But yet, in that moment, when they were lost in that, is the moment that they were found and found out. And that is a really strong rhetoric about society, right? Sometimes social oppressions and philosophies don't allow people to just be who they need to be in this world. So I think this is a very big moment in the video where they were just living happily and harming no one, and they get found. So okay, let's go on to the next one. And we're almost there, guys. Oh my God. As they run. That face on him right there. That face. Look at this face. Tell me what you think about that. Yeah. In that moment, when they looked out that window and all they could see were these cubes, and all they could see is that there was no way out And whether if they went backwards, there was also this cube that was going to defeat or do whatever it is. Well, we find out through the video. Is it defeat, right? So that's the question. I think it's that moment. It's 100% the fear. It's a moment of, that's it. It's, yes, defeat, fear, dismay. I think it's 100% a moments of pure dismay. She's looking at him knowing there's no place to go. There's nowhere I can take him. There's no other safe space for him. I need him to keep fighting with me. And he's saying, I'm not sure in this moment what fight we have left, because we have run into every wall there is. That's dismay. I'm not necessarily saying that they're losing their hope. I'm just saying that there's unfortunately moments in life where oppression and discrimination and suppression make it very difficult for us to just keep going. You hear the shift in the music, where we went back into the lilting piano. Voice doesn't match this moment at all, does it? You hear this? That moment. He may have had dismay. He may have gotten to a point where he just, wasn't sure, in that moment. This character, everything was getting washed away from him. Everything that made it possible for him to have control of his life. And it was the same for her. So what you see is them having loss of control of anything that can help them to live their own life, their own journey. Sorry. Now you see why I cry. So you've been waiting to see when the dress changes. It was pure. Exactly. So I didn't want to talk about this, and I was hoping someone would bring it up. You realize that the color of the dress changes from when they take it out of the store to when they're running. They're both full now of, they're stained and the outfits are damaged. So for sure they've been running. They keep running. In those few seconds that we see them running, it's been way more time than that. They just, and because, everything is tattered at this point. So they've had another journey that we're not seeing, but we know from the clothing that they had been fleeing all of that time. It's just too much. Okay. Exactly. The acting is just, I have no words for it. Exactly, Terry. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Yeah, I just have no words for this acting. I am so grateful that they gave us this. Just remember, I'm not stopping so we don't get in trouble. Oh, I have to stop every few minutes. That face on V right there. That face. I just, this man. You just saw in these 10 seconds, 10 emotions fleet across his face, while she above him is finally coming to a place of true understanding that there's nowhere to go, there's no way to survive this, that they just have to live in the last few minutes that they have together. And she thinks that she believes in love, doesn't want to let him see what's happening. She covers his eyes. And you see them starting to breathe. Yes, that's them all. That's the cube taking away the inner essence of who they are, their inner self, breaking them down, wearing them down. All of the things that happen when we are judged for otherness. So oof, this I'm going to struggle watching this show back later because I didn't expect I'd get this emotional. I've watched it over 17 times now, and I didn't think I'd get this emotional. But let's try and finish really quick because we're almost at that. So we're already at 35 minutes, and I do have to keep stopping, unfortunately, because of the way, that the rules work when you do a reaction. So give me a few more moments. We're close. That picture of her, I want to put it on a wall. It says everything. It says everything about what it is to love and lose when it shouldn't be happening to you. And that moment right there, the official representation says that in this moment they were disconnecting from the discrimination. They were disconnecting from the oppression. They were finding in that moment a freedom that separated them from that, even what that this invading force that was telling them that they were otherness. In this moment, as they lifted, they were exiting and leaving behind those discriminations that told them who they could be and who they couldn't be. It is insane. And as you watch them lift, behind them, you see the glimmers as their essence falls. You're seeing it on the ground right there. You see the glimmers. If you're not careful, it's very easy to miss those glimmers. You're so right, Julie. That's what I'm saying in my head the whole time. Thank you, Tessa. You guys know from me being on shows that I am an emotional mess when it's these things. It's not that I'm not controlled. It's just so beautiful that sometimes the beauty of what I'm taking in emotionally just creates this thing inside of me. And this is how I express it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let's go. We're almost at the very, very end. And there's so much to be told in these moments. You're seeing them lift. You're seeing the essence of them on the ground. You see the little, the teal essence. They will go. You see the emptiness. And then the closed. And the silence. Okay. Whew. Oof. That was a journey. That was such a journey. You know when you watch Spring Day, how no matter how many times you watch it, you're going to cry because you understand the story behind it. You understand the emotion. You understand the agendizing, and you understand the otherness that goes into someone losing everything because someone decides that that's what needs to happen. And we live in a world where it's like that. So thank you. I think they should make this a movie. If they made this a movie and we got to see how they got to this moment, I don't absolutely need it, but gosh, how many of you would like to see this in a movie or an extended version of it? I don't know. Do we need an extended version? Was it enough? I think thank you so much that you guys have to give me hugs. Thank you so much, guys. I want to absolutely. Oh no, absolutely. So it was the essence coming away, and that was actually the story that was told. That when the positive note was what I said, when they were lifting and when they were elevating, that they were disconnecting and they were leaving behind all of the oppressions and the discrimination. They had found a freedom in being who they were. That in that moment, while we don't want them to have lost their life, in that moment when they are absorbed or whatever happens to them, that essence goes back to the pureness of what it was. That essence goes back to the connection of what it was. That there's a unity to it. It is just the clothes falling. The clothes that are sitting there represents all of the souls that had this happen to them. And much like it's represented it throughout our entire existence. When there's a war and when there's famine and when there's, weather disasters, when we have loss, we have to find a way to reconcile to the grief of that loss. And when there's loss that had no reason whatsoever for it, well, there's never a reason for loss other than we're born and we leave the world. But in this particular situation, it's showing us that no matter what someone does and no matter what someone else's choice is about who you are, you will always remain the perfect you that you're supposed to be, that you have always been and you always can be. And don't give up on that. Hold on to that freedom, because that freedom is yours and no one else's. Don't give it away. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this with me tonight. I just probably will keep watching it and learning so much more. I'll keep watching it and figuring out more. I almost feel like I could write a dissertation on just this music video alone. I'm hoping that we're going to get a longer explanation. But really, if we don't, it's okay, because the story was ours to interpret, right? It was for us to be able to feel. It was for us to be able to connect to. And obviously we did, because have you seen social media flooded? Have you seen the reactions? Have you seen the theories? Have you seen the beauty of what people are saying about this music video? First of all, thank you, Ayun. I am beyond grateful that you gave us something this beautiful. But I am beyond grateful that you included our Tete in this, because he's stunning, he's stellar, he's superb. And this man is so connected spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, that he was going to be the perfect, and always would have been the perfect person to emote what this character needed. I am so, so grateful and so happy that we had the chance to get this gift. And hey, Tay, Bora, hey, love you. I know you're doing well. You're doing stellar out there in the world. Much love to all you armies. It's time for me to jump off. Aw. Love does always win. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see actor all of them. I really can't, because I think they all have the ability to stun the world with their acting capabilities if the Bangtan universe taught us anything about them. But this, oh my God, yes. Thank you so much for being here with me, my loves. I appreciate you. Apo bangpo. Aw. Hey, everyone. Bye. Oh, and we'll be with you again soon. I'm probably going to do these type of reaction videos to some of the older ones and talk our way through it just like this. And I hope to see all of you there. So love you. Look forward to all of the new stuff we'll be posting soon, because we have a brand new self-care program and regimen coming for the year that takes us all the way to June of 2025. And I cannot wait to bring all of you on the journey with us. Okay. Bye, Annie. Love to all of you. Bye. Apa bangpo.